This is episode 4 of Pitchin' It with Ben. On this episode, I am joined by JLPGA Tour member Eimi Koga. For those not familiar, the JLPGA is the professional women's tour in Japan. We talk about tour life there, the incredible support given to women's golf, and the popularity where the women are much more popular than the men. We also talk about her personal journey as a golfer, which includes a near-death experience on the golf course her senior year of high school, traveling the world and playing golf, and getting settled in Japan. You'll hear all this and more on this episode. As always, thanks for listening. So, Eimi,
Yes.
first of all, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. You know, it's nice to get up a little early. I appreciate you doing the time or taking
I'm
the time.
sorry. The time difference is pretty bad.
No. It's something that I need to do anyway. And I'm usually up pretty early regardless. So
Okay.
this is good. No, this is good. So I want to start out by getting to know you a little bit, hearing a little bit about your golf life, your career up to this point, up to the JLPGA, and then
Right.
you could maybe break down the JLPGA and your experience with that a little bit.
Mhm.
So, when did you start playing golf?
I was born in Japan. My dad's Japanese and my mom's Korean, but my mom's an American citizen. But I was born in Japan, but I moved to Brazil for a little bit because my mom grew up there. So I was there for a few years, and then I moved to Maui in Hawaii, and then I started golf there. And then soon after, I went to New York because my mom's family lives there now. and then I moved back to Hawaii, but this time in Oahu. And I was 10 years old then. And well, I guess you could say I still live there and in Japan at the same time right now. So yeah, so I've been playing golf since I was in Maui, played in New York, well actually New Jersey, and then I went to Oahu, and then I came to Japan. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you've been all over the place. Did what's been the most interesting or your favorite area to play golf in?
I guess for me, I feel like Hawaii is like my home. I feel very comfortable being there. I could be myself, and everyone's just so warm and friendly. And I mean, you could play golf all year round. So that was one of the reasons why we moved back to Hawaii, is so I could play practice all year round. And then my parents really supported me since I was little, so I'm really grateful for that. Because when I was in New Jersey, I had to like shovel out snow like a couple months of the year before I start practicing. And I don't know, I played a lot of tournaments there too when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. And I was actually like winning almost all of them because there's not many good players from, I guess, colder areas. And my parents were like, I mean, it's not supposed to be this easy kind of thing. So then, like, my dad's my coach since I started, and he's still my coach now. So he was like, if you want to play professionally, we need to like move to somewhere that's warmer, somewhere that has like better, like higher level of golf. And then when we were looking, and then we found like, we're like, oh, I guess we have to go back to Hawaii. And yeah, my whole family, we all moved back. And yeah, it's ever since then we've been there the whole time.
Okay, so early on, there was some goals of playing professionally someday.
Hmm.
When did you start really feeling like it was a possibility? Was there like maybe a tournament that you're like played really well against some very good competition, or was there a turning point when you really thought you could play?
Um, I feel like right when I started playing golf, maybe after a year or so, actually wanted to play professionally. Like that was my dream, that was my goal, and like playing in all like the world championships. And when I was 9 years old, I was able to qualify for the drive, chip, and putt, um, the national tournament. I think that was in Florida Orlando. Was it PGA National? I think so.
That sounds right.
And yeah, and there, like all the players, like I was 8 years old, no, not 9 years old, and they like treated you like a professional. Like
Mm.
they give you badges and they like give you a free like buffet line, and there was like a game room where like parents weren't allowed in, and it was only like for the juniors, and like that was kind of a big deal for me because when you're that age, like you have to follow like rules and like whatever your parents tell you to do. And I was like, wow, if you're like professional, then like they'll treat you differently, and like yeah. And then I was like, wow, this must be really cool. So I guess there is when I started, like when I wanted to become professional. Like that was my dream. But like every year from then, I played in like the Junior World Championship and like the USJ Girls, the like US Kids and Optimist. I won when I was 14 at Junior World. So I guess around then I was like, maybe I can. And I guess after I graduated high school, when I went to University of Washington for on a full scholarship, and it was like very strong team, good school, and in there, like we were competing against each other, and we made it to nationals. We made it to, yeah, we played pretty good. So it's like there's a chance that I can, but yeah, I guess throughout my whole life, I was able to play like in the higher like leagues and standards. So then I never, yeah, I
Right.
guess I always wanted to become like and play professionally.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I want to touch on it later when I get to the JLPGA part, but like it is interesting. I was talking to your friend Casey the
Mm-hmm.
other day about um, not everyone aspires or necessarily even needs to or wants to play on the LPGA tour.
Mm-hmm.
There is a JLPGA tour, and for right now it's just mostly only Korean players I think, but can play on the KLPGA tour. There's other options to play professionally, and I
Right.
want to talk about that in a little bit. We get the JLPGA part, but
Mm-hmm.
so interesting doing some reading about you.
Oh, you
Uh,
did. What did you find
just a
out?
little bit, just a little bit. I did. I asked Casey if it would be okay to ask you about what happened in high school, your senior year.
Ah, I see.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, it just seems like such a, maybe pivotal moment in your life slash golf career. Like, can you talk about that a little bit? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
what
I'm
happened
perfectly fine
and
with it. Mm-hmm. It was Halloween 2012, and yeah, it was my senior year, and it was the Asia Pacific Junior Cup, and it's like the one tournament that you look forward to all year because there's like 10 boys, 6 girls. We go out and we all stay in like a really nice hotel, and it's like a Ryder Cup format kind of. It's like match play, like four ball, foursome, and you become a team, and it's like the funnest week ever because like it's not about the golf too, but like making like friends from Japan and going to the pool afterwards, and yeah, the priorities, right? Yeah, but then I was able to play. That was my fourth year playing that I qualified, and it was my last year, and I was captain of the team too. And on the practice round day, the group that I played with, was it three? Yeah, three other guys that I played with, and yeah, he shanked his 3 wood, and I was like 30, 40 yards away. I was like on the right edge of the fairway, and he was like left rough. Like I was like nowhere in his like sight, or yeah, but then he shanked it. I guess I saw it coming because I tried to move, and then it hit right here. I still have like a little divot, and then it bounced off like 50 yards, and I still remember everything. I didn't like lose conscious or anything. I just like kind of like fell to the fairway, and then yeah, and then they iced me like soon after. And yeah, we were in Big Island that time in Hawaii, and yeah, they took me to the hospital, and they were like, because it was internal bleeding, it didn't like come out the blood, So they're like, there's no brain surgeon in Big Island, so you have to fly you back to Hawaii. I mean, to Oahu. And I was like, I was just there yesterday because that's where I live. And I'm like, okay. So it was like a ambulance airplane jet kind of thing. Yeah, pretty big deal. I think it was pretty expensive too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then that night I had surgery. I think they cut like from here to here to take out the blood. And then I have like a steel plate in my head right now. And then they like staple it up. And yeah, I was just, I don't know, I wasn't really like mad or sad or anything, but it was more like, why me kind of thing. Or like if I had moved to like, you know, like 2 inches to the side, or like if this, if that. But at the same time, like if it was like toward my face, like if it hit my eye, like I wouldn't have any vision anymore, like I would have a broken bone, or, you know, cannot talk or cannot hear or anything. So I guess, well, right now I'm like perfectly fine. There's no side effects, and I guess I'm lucky in a way. I'm not sure. But that was that week. Yeah, that was the week that I was representing Hawaii to play in the tournament. And then the following, I had 2 more tournaments after that that I was representing United States. I think we had to play in like China and somewhere else in the States, I think. And it was my senior year too, and then I was really excited for that because of like really big tournaments coming up. And yeah, and I just like disappeared right there. And after the surgery, the doctor told me that I would never be able to play golf again, like for sure. And it might be a little difficult for me to like live normally. Like I'm like, I'll be kind of handicapped, I guess. Like they told me I can't really go back to school normally, or it'll take some time. And yeah, and then there I was just like, wait, what? And yeah, I was crying a lot during that time. And that, well, it was a Halloween, so it's like end of October. And since it was my senior year, I was already committed to play at Washington, and then the signing day is like mid-November. So I was like, oh wow, I just lost everything, like because I can't play golf anymore. So like they won't have me on the team, and my scholarship will be gone, and like pretty much my life is like over, yeah. But I feel like I was more worried about like how I had to go back to Big Island, because like I'm the captain and I need to like, even if I can't play, I want to like be there for everyone. But the doctor and my parents are like, you're definitely not going back. And I was like, yeah, that was really sad for me, because I was looking forward to that tournament like all year round. But yeah, ever since that, I actually recovered in like 2 months completely. And then they thought it was like, oh, it's like pretty much like a miracle. Like I guess I was 17 that time too, so I recovered pretty fast because I was young, like, and being lucky as well. So yeah, I mean, it's very, yeah, you don't really get hurt playing golf, you know?
Right.
But, yeah, and then I almost died. So
Yeah. It sounds like, I mean, it's a total freak accident. This is you're with a bunch of very good players. So it's not like, you know, the 50 handicap or something.
Right.
And just obviously you still hit it pretty hard too. I mean, to hit you hard enough to cause that damage. And then it's just so wild to me. And that now that you were still able to go to college, still able to now play professionally.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, I feel like it's a kind of a big, I mean, it is a big moment in your life, because it really could have gone 2 ways, and this is probably the way, at least it sounded at the time. This is not what you expected at all, or not what the doctors expected anyway.
Right.
How soon after, so you recovered in 2 months, were you able to start doing more physical activity and playing golf after that, or what was that process like?
So like during the first month, like since it's like my head, they told me like not to move around and not to think about anything. And I was like, oh, that's kind of hard. Like I'll try not to think, and you're thinking already. And then the fact, and like since it was like an accident too, all my friends were really worried. And then my phone was blowing up with all these texts and calls, and they're like, "You're definitely not gonna touch your phone." And I'm like, "What kind of 17-year-old girl are you telling me to not touch your phone?" I thought I was gonna die from that. And but yeah, everyone really worried. But like the first month, I just stayed at home, just like from my bed to the living room, and yeah, just like really do nothing. And then I have two younger sisters, and they both play golf as well. And my dad teaches. So from like the second month, they told me, well, they started taking me to practice, and I just like sat around on the bench and on the grass and watching them hit, just to be outside. And around from the second month, they told me like I could start like putting. So I putted so much. I mean, there's nothing else to do. And like even if like picking up the golf balls, I had to leave the flag stick in so I could just like take it out, not like bend over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, we actually had a tournament in December. It was the Tournament of Champions. It's like the biggest tournament for the Hawaii State Junior Golf. And that's where all the seniors do their senior speeches, and um Michelle, we hosted too.
Mm-hmm.
And for that tournament, I was like, I really want to go. Even if I can't play, like I want to at least like say my speech and like see everybody again. Because the last time they saw me, I was like lying dead on the fairway. And then my parents were like, okay. And that was in Maui. So I flew to Maui, and I didn't play the practice round because we played there like every year. So I pretty much knew the course. And it's not really about the playing golf. It's more like me being safe. So I went to the banquet, said my speech. I left early because, it was just too much for me. And yeah, I think I shot pretty good. Like even par, 1 over, 2 over. I'm like, I don't even know. I mean, definitely my putter saved me. And yeah, actually, the other thing that really surprised me was right after the surgery when doctors told me that I can't play golf anymore, and then I thought that I lost my scholarship at UW. The coach at UW, Mary Lou, she, I think she got the information right away because coach and the what was it the president of HSJJ, Mary B, was very close, so they found out about my accident. And right after the surgery, the coach at UW, like my parents thought like I lost my scholarship and everything, but then the coach at UW was like, whatever you do, just sign your name, and then like you'll be good to go. Like we don't know what's gonna happen, we don't know if you're gonna play golf or not, but we really want you to be on the team. And then I was just like, what? Why? Like, are you crazy? Like I can't even play golf, and they still wanted to offer me the scholarship. And I was really grateful for that because I was like, wow, they're just amazing, and I'm very lucky to have them. So yeah, that was a really big moment. And then yeah, I guess since then I'm back to normal.
Wow. So how many rounds had you played going in, like full rounds going into that Tournament of Champions?
Oh, I didn't play anything. I never, yeah, they were like, you're definitely not gonna play. I mean, even if I hit balls, maybe like they only let me hit like 20, 30 balls, and then they're like, you're done, you're done. Or, just even if the doctor said okay, like, just wanted to make sure. And
right.
yeah.
I mean, I think we see it in athletes all the time. They come back too quickly from injuries. And with the brain injury, I really don't know. I guess there's a lot of unknowns because literally they thought you weren't ever going to play again. Right. So there's a lot of unknowns, I guess, with the brain injuries. That is so amazing. I'm happy that you're out, outside and playing golf. Can we have this conversation right now?
Yeah, definitely. Like you hear a lot of stories when someone gets like really hit like really hard on the head, like when you lose memory, or even on the other hand, like you have like superpowers or something. Yeah, that never happened to me. I was like, what if I get like superpowers or something? Like super memory, or I don't know, you can see the
Ooh,
future or something. I don't know. Yeah,
that
like
would have
that.
been really cool. Well,
Yeah.
I feel like you have some sort of superpowers if you went from only putting to going and shooting like even par in your first round back.
Yeah. It
That's
was just, I
amazing.
don't know, it was just a lot of fun being back out. It was, I mean, I never, ever since I started golf, I never, I don't know, not played golf for more than like 2 or 3 days. And I don't know, out of nowhere, like I like couldn't touch my club for like 2 months. And I think like the first time I hit a golf ball right after the, like after all the break, I literally started crying. Like I was bawling my eyes out. I guess I was just
Mm.
really happy to play golf again and I don't know, be able to hit balls. And yeah, I still have that picture my dad took of me. But yeah, I was like crying from like, I don't know. I don't know
Just
why, but
tears of joy. No, I mean it makes sense. I mean that's so cool.
yeah.
So you ended up at Washington, and then you finished at Hawaii, right?
Actually, I didn't finish
Didn't
yet.
finish. Okay, okay,
Yeah, I'm still taking online classes right now.
okay. I think I
Right.
saw. I think I saw you were studying or something like, on your Instagram story. Looks fun.
Yeah, so I went to Washington U though for 2 years. So I finished my sophomore year. And like even from like before, I was talking to the coaches and said I wanted to play in Q school like during my years of college just to like try it out and like see how it is. And after I graduate, like I'll like actually try so I could be ready. And then I was trying to do that for yeah when I was going in my junior year, and then out of nowhere, the coaches there said that I couldn't play in Q school, and I think it's because the year before we lost like 3 players from playing in Q school, and then everyone just left, and we only had 5 players on the team, and I mean that's pretty devastating for a coach to yeah. But we were really strong, and then like we had no injuries, so it was good. But I guess it was really scary for her to, I guess maybe lose one more player. So she kind of threatened me and said, like, if I play in Q school, they'll take away my scholarship. And I was like, what? And I'll talk to my parents about it, and they're like, okay, I guess you're transferring. And I'm like, I am. And then I was like, okay. And then I was talking to the UH coach, and I was very lucky. They had an extra spot open, and I think one of the girls transferred out, so I was able to take her scholarship. And since I live in Hawaii, it was an in-state tuition, so it's a lot cheaper. So it kind of like ended up being like a full scholarship for me. So yeah, that worked out perfectly, and I transferred. But then that year, I transferred my junior year, and then Q schools in Japan is August. It has 4 stages. August, October, November, December, and that was like the fall season for college golf. So I was only there for the fall season because I was able to make it to the final stage at the JLPGA school. And I mean, I wasn't planning on passing, but it was like good to have like plan B. Like if I don't, then I could still go back to school. But I luckily qualified. I went to the final stage and I qualified. So I told the coach like, okay, I'm gonna leave. Like, I'm sorry, I was only here for like 3 months, but then she was like, I mean, she already knew from the beginning. Like, that's what I told her from the beginning, and she was really happy to have me because during that one fall season, I was able to have my first individual win, and we had our first team win in like 20 years or something. So it was her first win as a coach. So I'm glad I provided that, and then I kind of left soon after. But yeah, so yeah, that's when I quit the golf team, and then I started going to school like as like a normal student because yeah, you can't be on the team and play professionally. And that was 2015, 16, I think.
Okay,
Mhm.
so this
Mhm.
perfect transition into tour life in Japan.
Right. Well, it's
Okay,
kind of hard because I never played in America, so I don't really know how to like compare.
compare it. That's
Hmm.
okay. I mean, you just talk about your experiences.
Okay.
So first of all, it's Q school slash protest. Is it called the protest?
Mhm,
You
there's
have
two.
Okay, those are two different things?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain that a little bit
All
first?
right. So Q school is like, they call it QT. I don't know why. QT is the same thing as Q school. Like you play in the tournament to get status for tournaments. Okay. And then protest is like, it's like it's a tournament to get your license, your professional license. And well, they kind of change the rules kind of often. But when I was there, when in the beginning, when I was there, like 2016, like even if you don't press protest, you could, if you do well in the Q school, then you could play in the tournaments. For 1 year. And if you have if you pass the protest, I think you could play. So there's two tours, the regular tour and the step up tour. I think, yeah, Casey, I think she should mention that. I think if you pass the protest during that time, you could have 2 full years on the step up tour. But then like after that, it's like doesn't really matter anymore, and then you just have to play in the Q school to get status for the tour. So I didn't play in the protest the first year because I was like, oh, there's no point because you can't really play in tournaments anyway. So I just played in the Q school, and then I passed the Q school. For 2016, I had full status on the step up tour, the second tour, because I didn't play well enough for the regular tour. So that's what I did. And then starting last year, they made a new rule where you can't play in Q school unless you pass the protest. Right. which is why it's getting very difficult for like foreign players or like even players in Japan to play on the Japan tour, because you have to pass the protest first in order to go to Q school. But only 20 players pass the protest every year. So there's only 20 new players. Yeah. Which just makes it really hard.
Right.
And very competitive. Right.
So, okay, so you kind of briefly mentioned it. So the JLPGA and the Step Up Tour, so the professional tours there in Japan, they are technically open to anyone, correct? But there's a few like, what's the word I'm looking for? Requirements that go along with that, correct?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So can you talk about that a little bit? Like what are the requirements for someone to play on the JLPGA? Maybe not all of them. For instance, is it true that if you don't speak Japanese, you have to have a translator?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
I guess I don't really know it then. That is true.
Okay.
Okay.
There's something that you don't have to worry about, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Casey was talking about when she went over at the beginning, especially her Japanese was not that good, so she was brought or paying for a translator, but then she studied really, really hard so that she, of course, you don't want to have all these extra fees, and that's one that you would rather not have. So she got her Japanese to a level she feels, she's good enough to kind of go on without a translator. But okay, so you get onto you played Step Up Tour your first year, 2 years, or okay?
That was my first year in 2016, and in 2016, and then at Q school, I didn't play so well on the Step Up Tour, like mostly miscuts, and I guess it was because everything was very new to me, and like being a professional and everything. Okay, so 2016, at 2016 Q school, to determine for the 2017, I didn't pass second stage. So once you don't pass second stage and you don't have your protest, you officially you can't be a professional in Japan the following year. Yeah, pretty mind-blowing for me too. Yeah, it was pretty devastating. I was pretty depressed. And then, so since I didn't pass second stage, that means for 2017, that means I cannot play as a professional in Japan. And like even my whole family moved here with me, and then I'm like, they came here for me, and then I can't even play, and I'm just like, okay, like what am I gonna do? So there actually 2017 I played on the JLPGA Tour, and I played in the Q school. I think 2016 during the summer. There is this thing called IQT, like International QT for the JLPGA Tour. It's a Q school just for international players that wants to play on the JLPGA Tour, which is pretty neat. So there were a lot of, yes, Japanese girls and like Thailand girls and Chinese and Taiwan girls there. And since I had some status, I was able to play on the JLPGA Tour in 2017. I think they have 3 tours: the JLPGA Tour, the regular tour, the Dream Tour, and then the Jump Tour. And then I had status in the Dream Tour and Jump Tour. So like from Japan, I flew to Korea like every single week, and I rented a car. I played in like the 2-day event tournaments, and I had my teammate from UW actually lived in Korea near the course that I played at, so I always stayed at her house, and she just took care of me because I can't really speak Korean. I mean, English kind of goes afar. Like they understand pretty well in Korea, and there's Wi-Fi everywhere, so you could use your translator, which was really nice. So yeah, I played because I just really wanted to play in tournaments, and just wanted to like get better, and like my whole family came here for a reason, and I just like had to like keep on going. So I played a bunch of tournaments in Korea and a lot of like one-day tournaments in Japan. There are a lot of like open tournaments, like depending on the prefecture, or there's like this like mini tour event, like winner gets maybe like $300-$400, and entry fee is like 120. And I mean, you don't really make much, but like I just wanted to keep on playing in tournaments. And like with all that, and then that year during the protest, I like played terribly, and then I couldn't get my protest card. So yeah, that wasn't so well. But for 2017 at Q school, during the winter, I was able to go to final stage, and then I came in 44th, so which gave me status like 80% on the regular tour, and yeah, and then some on like the step up tour. So since I passed second stage and I went to final stage, that means I was able to become a professional for 1 whole year on the Japan tour again, which was really good. And so for 2018, I played in a lot of tournaments, like the regular tour tournaments, and I made a lot of cuts. Like I didn't really come in top 10 or top 15, but like I made cuts and sort of hanging in there kind of thing.
Made cuts and made some money.
Yeah, finally. And during the protest, which is in the summer, that's the year where I won protest and came in first, and Casey came in second, and we both passed protest the same year. And yeah, we got our card, and that was the year I think they announced that if you don't pass protest, you can't play in Q school anymore. And I'm like, if I don't pass protest, that means I can't play in Japan, and there's no point coming to Japan. So yeah, it was a pretty big deal. But I think it really helped me that I played on the regular tour from like spring going into the protest, and I just had more confidence and I guess pride in a way. And be like, you're not playing against pros, we're all amateurs kind of thing. And like, yeah, and then we were able to pass, and yeah, ever since then it's pretty good. And in 2018 at Q School I played well, came like 20th, which gave me full status for 2019. And then last year I was able to come in 41st on the money rank, which gave me my like a seeded player for this year. So I didn't need to go to Q school, which was amazing. Yay, but we have no tournaments.
Oh, yeah, not yet. What is okay, well, first of all, what an amazing journey. Like, but that's like professional golf though, right? Like
Right.
you see the top players, the people that are known everywhere, like those are the exceptions, like exceptions to the rule. The normal, like so many more people have, I think, journeys similar to yours, where like you're grinding, you have to overcome lots of different obstacles,
Right.
and um, so what kept you, like you really love playing golf, and you like this is what you want to do. It's like you were said, even after not having status in Japan at all for an entire year, you came up with another option, like, okay, I can go to Korea, and you made that work. And then you came back to Japan. Like, was there ever, I mean, I'm sure that there was some self-doubt, but like, was there some self-doubt? And then what did you tell yourself to kind of get past that, overcome that?
Well, I think the biggest help that I had was that my whole family came with me to Japan. And I feel like most times, if it wasn't my situation, like my whole family will be back in Hawaii, and then they'll just like send me like go to Japan and then practice and play and I don't know, work, I guess. But I don't know, ever since I was little, like our whole family always moved together, and my dad was my coach. So, and then my sisters, like they play golf too, and I feel like if they do like play professionally, I think they want to play professionally in Japan. So we are like why not? Like you guys could get used to the experience, like new culture. You guys could learn the language, and we're like okay. So yeah, so we all went to Japan, and I I didn't feel it at that time, but I guess I did have a lot of pressure being, I don't know, thinking like it's my fault. Not really my fault, but it's because of me that my whole family had to move from Hawaii to Japan. And even my sisters have to struggle. Like they can't speak Japanese and they don't like the culture. Like it's different and they have to get used to it. And it's like my first time actually, it's just like my time to finally like make money and pay back to my parents because they spend so much on me like all my life. And yeah, we're not like a wealthy family, so they were like, just do your best and we'll keep working, and if we come to a point where we have to like pick up cans off the street, then like we'll let you know, but for now we're okay. And yeah, so that didn't happen yet, but I guess I just had a lot of pressure, like it's like money started to come in my mind, and up until now like never really thought about money because when you're amateur junior golf, like it's just, I mean, you're not gaining anything. So ever since coming here, I guess that like I wasn't really happy, I guess. I don't think I was really enjoying golf because I thought of it as at work and I need to like show results and like nothing's improving and the coach is different, the courses are different. And then I guess I wasn't really comfortable. But I think going to like Korea, yeah, my dad really didn't come with me to Korea because he can't really handle spicy food as much, and like my English is better than my dad's, so like I'm gonna have to be taking care of him as well. Well, in Japan, like he can take care of me because he could like read and write and speak Japanese, and I mean I could speak Japanese, but I can't read and write, so there was kind of like a no point for my dad for being there. And since I was staying at my friend's house, I mean, it just worked out. And I guess I kind of became more independent. I was like a little more happier, and it was just a new experience, I guess, going to Korea because like all the girls are so good, like every single one. Like even on the jump tour, the what did I shoot? It was a 2-day tournament. I shot like 60, 69, 68 or something like that. Like pretty good. Came in like 7th or 8th. I think the winner shot like 15 under, and I'm like, that's 2 days. I'm like, and then I came in like 7th. I think I made like $500, but because I'm an international, they take out the taxes, and it ends up being like 300. And I'm like, that's my rental car. I didn't even pay my airplane fee, and I don't even pay for hotel, and I'm like losing money. But it wasn't about the money at that point. I just like wanted to play in tournaments and I wanted to become like a better player. So I think starting then I started not thinking about money too much and just, trying to become like good and have more experience. And I think since then, I think it started changing how I thought. Not putting much pressure on myself, and I was happier.
Makes sense. So you actually think the turning point, well, obviously you couldn't play in Japan. So turning point was this time when you got to actually play on the KLPGA, which definitely put you into unfamiliar territory because you didn't have your family there, at least not as often. You had more of a language barrier than you've had in the other places you've been in.
Right.
And then, that's
going from myself, not like someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. But speaking of money, though, so can you talk a little bit about on the JLPGA? Well, two things. First of all, something that I think most of the players on JLPGA, KLPGA, but we're talking about JLPGA, and even Casey was talking about on the Step Up Tour, is once you become a professional in Japan, sponsors are there, right? That's something that all the players are pretty fortunate to have some sponsors.
Yeah, I think I don't really know what's it like on the LPGA tour, but definitely that was also one of my reasons why I decided to play in Japan, where women's golf in Japan is just so popular. Like everybody plays golf, watches golf. They don't watch men's golf at all. Like for the Japan men's golf, like they watch the PGA, but not like the JPGA, and so much media coverage, like magazines, TV shows, commercials, so like pro-ams, and they really save your life. And of course, sponsors. And I guess it's because Japan is more like a rich person's sport, and all the owners and presidents and everybody plays golf, and they use golf as like communication, where they gather and they do like their meetings at the golf course and stuff like that. So you just meet so many like owners and presidents of like every single company playing on the tour, which is I think why it's easier to get sponsorship, because you just meet them so much more often, and just so much media coverage, I guess, everywhere. So like TV, there's a lot of shows like lesson shows or like that battle, like where you play match play against somebody, and then I mean it's very fortunate because we never see that stuff on Golf Channel or in the States unless you're really like top 10 in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is something that I really, I mean, I know it a little bit, but I'm hoping to help other people, especially in the US, but other parts of the world, see and learn about like how great the tours are in other places such as Japan, and then how strong the support is for women's golf. Because people, I think if you talk to, for instance, if you compared the Step Up Tour to the Symetra Tour, for instance, in the US, the Symetra Tour, and I know some of the women out there playing, like, it's not easy at all. Like, sponsors are not easy to find. You're not on TV ever. You can't even think about doing that. But Casey was even talking about how Step Up Tour even gets televised, not all the holes or the entire tournament, but even Step Up Tour gets television time. Yeah. Which is just, I think for a lot of people, very like, mind blowing. Like you just don't see it. So, and then there's the other opportunities for financial income, right? Like one day tournaments or pro-am, things like that. Can you talk about that a bit? Have you experienced that?
Unfortunately, I have. During the tournament season, like it's really hard to go to those events because I mean you're on tour the whole time. But even for the girls that doesn't have status, they could make a really good living of just the pro-ams. I think it's actually better than actually playing on tour because you're not spending money, you're only like gaining money to play in, like to go and play in those tournaments. But for me last year, we finished our season the first week of December, and the only day off I had in December was on the 23rd, I think. And other than that, every single day I had something in. Let me take out my schedule.
Wow.
Yeah, very colorful.
busy.
Yeah, I mean, very fortunate enough because they're inviting me and they wanted me to be there. But even from like TV shoots to, I have a couple of fan clubs, and they wanted like instead of like playing a round of golf with them because I'll be only able to play like 2 or 3 people if I play a round of golf. So I did like a big dinner event kind of thing, and we played like bingo and then like a chipping competition kind of thing, and gave a bunch of like my shirts and hats away. I had a pro-am every other day because the day before there's a banquet at night. So then like I had to go to that. And just a lot of pro-ams. It was very tiring. I was in a different prefecture every single day, so just like the transportation and everything. And then you have to do all your meetings with your sponsors, like saying thank you, and then for like future sponsors being like, oh, hello, kind of thing. And it's pretty crazy, I guess. I feel like you make a lot more money playing in pro-ams than like actual tournaments, but to be honest.
So you get paid to play in it, and then you have the opportunity, depending how you play, to like win money, right? Or
that depends on the program.
Okay.
There are certain pro-ams where like they just give you like $1,000 and then you just do your thing, or there are certain ones where you get at least this much, and like if you play well, you'll get like extra, or it's usually like by groups, like you play 4-ball and it's like a group score, and then like it's more like just to communicate and like get along with the people you're playing with. I mean, it's all like 50, 60-year-old guys, but I mean, that's our job, I guess. And there are even some girls, like some of my friends, where they're professionals, they pass the pro test, but they don't really play on tour. But some of them have like nonstop pro-am for like 2 whole weeks, and if it's like $1,000 each, then it's like pretty good money. Yeah. And they're sisters, so it's double. So I'm like, wow, you're making a lot more than me. Like if you missed it, you get 0.
Right.
So on the other hand, there are also girls that don't pass the pro test, but they still play in pro-ams, and there's some people that goes like against that because like they're cuter and prettier and younger, I guess. And I mean, there's some little issues about that, but still, like, it's very popular, and you can actually make a living just doing that instead of playing in tournaments.
Which again, it may not be the exact lifestyle that someone sets out to do. Being a professional golfer, you're out there like you wanting to compete like against other people. However, just having that as an option has to be kind of like, I don't know if it's a safety net. That's not the right word, but like it's not
plan B, but yeah.
But it's cool that you have that opportunity. That it's there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you mentioned fan clubs. That's something I wanted to talk about. Fans and fan clubs.
Right.
So you said a couple fan clubs.
Yeah, there was like, well, there was one that they made last year, and then I was just like, oh, thanks. And then there's a new one this year that I think they're gonna start, because they also made my homepage as well. I think you could find it on my Instagram. They made me a website, but it's not only me, but there's a bunch of girls on tour. There's like certain people that watches them every single week.
Like
They
in
fly,
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
they fly to every single tournament all over Japan, and then they watch them play and they like cheer them on, kind of thing. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy, but very grateful. And at the same time, like, you can't be a normal person to be doing this. Like, you definitely have to, at least have your own company, or I don't know, or really rich in order to, travel on tour with us pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even get money, and they're only going just to like, cheer for you. And I mean, luckily enough, the people that follows me are like really nice people, and they like genuinely like want me to like play well, and they just like really support me. And then, oh, and gifts. They give so much gifts in Japan. I mean, I think it's the culture where you give like souvenirs and everything. But like after the tournament, like after the round, like when you're walking off to the clubhouse, they'll be like, oh, like we got you this. And like they give you like little goodie bags and snack bags. And sometimes they give you like Starbucks cards or face masks or like bath bombs, or I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff. And yeah, they always want to give, and yeah, it's really, I'm pretty sure that's something that you don't really have in the States, because it's more like a Japanese culture kind of thing. And yeah. Yeah. And on the other hand, like writing autographs and taking they don't take pictures, but I mean, I allow, but in Japan they don't allow pictures. But like writing, like signing and stuff, they like wait a super long line. And I mean, it's really cool because it was something that I always wanted to do since I was little, like giving autographs, because you can't really give autographs if, yeah, you have to be professional to give autographs. And yeah, that was one of my dreams, and it's really cool, like doing that and giving like golf balls to the little kids, and yeah, signing hats and stuff.
Yeah. So your autograph, is that something you practiced from early on?
Yeah, since I was like little.
How
I,
how similar is it to your current one?
it's pretty similar, but one time I got really fancy to the point where you can't really like recognize your name. My goodness. But then like 2-3 years ago, I started going like with the simple cursive, because I rather want them to be able to read it instead of being like, I mean, I feel like if it's your favorite player, or if it's like someone really famous like Tiger Woods, like if you see it, then you're like, oh, this is Tiger Woods. But if you can't really read it, you'll be like, who is that again? So it's kind of like Arnold Palmer, where he said like your signature should be legible, so they'll know who it is. So I just write it in cursive for me.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree, and that's really, unless you have something really cool like. Well, have you seen NASA's signature?
Oh yeah,
She
the
does like,
planet.
yeah. I love her signature so much. Like, I mean, I don't know that she does it pretty quickly when I've seen her at tournaments and stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, that is a really cool thing. And
Right.
then fans in general. A lot of people show up to tournaments. Like, can you talk
Oh yeah.
about crowd sizes and then how
Well,
your
I mean,
experience with that?
crowd size. I mean, always did. Yeah, crowd sizes are pretty, I guess, big. You get thousands of people every day, and I mean, it always depends on who you're playing with too. I mean, if you're playing with a very popular person or a very good person, then you have a lot of people, your spectators. But if you're playing with like not so much, then like there's only like maybe four, like 5, 6 people in your group. I mean, I really don't mind either way, but it's been like really crazy ever since Shibuno. she won the British Open, and ever since, like literally ever since that day, the spectators has been crazy. Like so many people, like so many people, like so many, like you can't even enter to the golf course. There's like traffic outside of the golf course, and we're like getting late to our tea time. Yeah. I mean, it'll take like maybe like 20 minutes to get to the course, but it'll take like an hour. And it's because of like all the buses and spectator buses are, traffic. And yeah, that's.
So, are they coming to see her, or because she won like a major tournament on one of the biggest stages in women's golf?
Mm-hmm.
More people are interested in women's golf in general, and they're wanting to see.
I think both.
Yeah.
I think mostly her. Definitely, if her group is like, you could pretty much see it from anywhere from the course. Like, oh, that's where Shimpano is. but other than that, there's a lot of people that like started watching women's golf because of her, or like started golf because of her, or a lot of like junior golfers, coming out to watch. And yeah, it's been really cool. I mean, I kind of feel bad for her because like she literally has a camera on her every single second of her life, and they call her the Smiling Cinderella. And then like if she's not like smiling, everyone would be like, what's wrong, like what's wrong with her? And I'm like, she can't be smiling all the time. And I mean, if you're in a foreign country, if you can't speak the language, like all you have to do is smile. So then I feel like that's what got stuck with her. And I think she's handling it really well though, and she really answers to her spectators and fans by playing really well as well, even after the British Open, and like winning a lot of tournaments. And I think that's really amazing how she does. I mean, I don't know from now, but until now, I think it's amazing. And even on TV right now, like on the news and the variety shows, like she's always on. And I mean, women's golf like has been like even more popular. And yeah, it's just amazing.
Yeah. That's something. So it's not the same, but I know similar in Korea. And I've been to Korea 2 times to some KLPGA events. I'm hoping to get to some JLPGA events when schedule says it can.
Right.
Yeah. But in 2018 they had the UL International Crown there, like big team competition, and in 2017 I was like, I'm going. Like I'm going to get there. I wanted to experience these large crowds because it just doesn't happen that often. At some of the majors on the LPGA, and sometimes depending, like if you're in Florida, say Lexi Thompson or Brooke Henderson has a lot of her Canadian fans like stay in Florida, so like they'll always have pretty good size groups. But to have literally like hundreds of yards of fans like lined up, you just don't see that really too many places. So yeah, it's really cool. I think another difference right now and really cool to see in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of media coverage, a lot of TV influence. I get a lot of magazines. Yeah, magazines are pretty big because we get interviewed a lot and photos taken and like drills and lessons and stuff. And they have like weekly magazines. I had a photo shoot yesterday as well. And then I think because they're running out of things to put on because there's no tournaments going on either. Yeah, pretty devastating for them too.
Yeah.
During winter, I also had like a TV show with the Tokyo Giants. They're a very famous baseball team in Japan, and with one of the 2-3 players on there, like we like became a group and we like played against other teams, and like, even those a lot of people watches on TV. And I mean, even for me, like I never like won a tournament. I came in top 10 a few times, but I'm not like super popular compared to definitely like other girls. But there are a lot of people that recognizes me like in the city, on the trains, and it's kind of not. I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool, but it's a little like creepy in a way as well. Because I mean, I mean, I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'9". I'm the tallest girl on the JLPGA Tour. But, and yeah, they just recognize. They were like, "Oh, are you Eimi?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes." And they're like, "Oh, like good luck." And I'm like, "Thanks." And then, I mean, it's really cool. But at the same time, like the only people that actually watches golf or reads about golf is guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different, but you could already kind of tell like when they notice me, and I'm like, oh, they found out. They found out. Like, what should I do? And being in Japan, like everyone's very shy, and most of the time they don't really say anything, but there are a couple of times where they actually like ask for like autograph or a picture or yeah, I just don't like when they take the picture like secretly. I'm like, you can always ask because I'll definitely not say no. And I mean, like airplanes, yeah, it's pretty private too, because like you're kind of doing normal stuff, but then they kind of like catch you. But I mean,
almost
I
like
guess
paparazzi.
I mean, it's only like it's this much for me. I'm like, oh well, it would have been worse for all the other girls, especially like Shibuno. Yeah, her face is everywhere, so there's no one that doesn't know her.
Like literally, like get on the train and you're like look up at a poster and like, oh yeah, that's you. No, it's not me. Like it's not. I'm not her. Like, wow. No, like. Yeah, so it's one of those kind of what do you call it? It's kind of it's both. Like it's kind of maybe not convenient, but at the same time, like it's really cool that you have. I mean, that people do recognize you, and that means that there is support, and that means you are being shown in the media. It means that like you are on TV and you are in magazines. So it's kind of like that. Kind of must be a tricky balance sometimes, like between being a little like I just want to go out and enjoy my day, not have to worry about someone taking my picture, but you're also grateful that you have an opportunity to play golf for a living. And
yeah, which is also what I also noticed being in Japan. I think compared to like LPGA is all the other girls in Japan on the tour, they could never post a picture with their like boyfriends. It's more like an idol kind of thing in Japan, like not a celebrity, but yeah, I guess more like an idol. And I mean, like, what's the point kind of thing? But I feel like that's a little different from LPGA because I mean, everyone does that. Like, they go drinking, they go to the bar, they have fun, they post a picture with their boyfriend. It's like perfectly normal. I mean, I think it's perfectly normal, but here, like, if you post a picture from like when you're drinking or going to a clubbing or to a rave or have a picture with your boyfriend, like it's not good, I guess, not a good image in a way. And I don't know, I guess that's the difference in culture as well.
Yeah, I mean, is that something that you found out personally, like you had people contact you like, hey, like you have to delete that picture, or is that something you just noticed from other players told you and or whatever?
I guess I just caught on as well. I mean, I don't really have anyone, so there's nothing to post, unfortunately. but like when I do go out drinking or like when I go out with my friends, like I feel like it's perfectly normal, but I'll just like put it on my close friends instead of like my actual public one. And I'm like, well, probably a few years ago I wouldn't have done this, but it's not like I'm doing anything bad or being illegal or doing anything,
Right.
but it's more like who you're representing. Feel like your sponsors are always watching, your fans are always watching, and I mean, I don't know. It just feels like you're not really allowed or you're supposed to do, which is why a lot of the girls here have like another Instagram just for their private pictures or stuff like that. And I mean, I don't have one because there's nothing to put on, but my other friends do. And when they have like 30,000-40,000 people on their regular Instagram, they only have like 30,000 40 people on the other one, and they just post whatever they want. And I feel like, I don't know how.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be nice to post. Sometimes you just want to, it's like you need to vent to people sometimes, like, or you just want to like express yourself, but you can't do that. You can't do that in front of, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, I don't know. At least you have some friend, like you have friends and stuff that you can share that with as well. I mean,
Right.
that is interesting. The cultural difference, though.
Because they don't. It's kind of harsh to put in this way, but the spectators and fans in Japan, I mean, mostly they're like 40s, 50s, 60s males, and they're not really there to watch your golf, but to watch you. While in, I think, LPGA or PGA, they're usually like actual golfers that plays golf to go watch them play golf and see how they hit, see their swings, see their shots. But on the JLPGA Tour, I feel like it's a little different. It's more looks and instead of, I mean, of course, if you play well, then it's good. But I mean, there's definitely girls that doesn't play as well, but they still get a lot of media coverage, and there are girls who plays well but that doesn't get media coverage, and it's kind of like how you not play the game, but how to make it go your way.
Yeah, which I imagine that has to be another. I mean, I can't imagine personally because no one's coming out to watch me because it's like because of me. Like it's been interesting. Okay, I have had some people stop me, which just like they recognize me because I've covered the tour for a few years, and they know like I've done interviews and I take pictures and written some stories and things. So every time, like I still get completely shocked. Like someone says, like, "Hey Ben," look over and like,
Do I know you?
yeah, like who are you? And when I was in Korea last fall, I actually I signed 3 autographs, and I was like, what? Why? I didn't really understand. I mean, I have some theories about that, but it was a real KLPGA event with a few LPGA players there. So I was definitely the only like American person there. So I stood out for sure, but
well, I think it is the culture in Japan too, because I mean, compared to America, like men are still higher than women, and the patriarchy, and I guess I don't know. That's just the culture, and it just like goes along with the golf, and it just kind of like ends up being like that, and you just gotta like play how they do it, and then there are things. It's kind of easier for me because I came in from Hawaii, and I don't need to do it like the Japanese way, but at the same time, like I know the Japanese way, but I don't like push myself to be like that. I just kind of like go on the I don't know, the line, and then like make it go whichever it goes my way. And it's a little, I mean, I feel like being here, this is my 4th year now, and it's a lot more comfortable. It's a lot more easier for me now. So yeah, I guess I'm okay.
That's good. I think you're doing good. Okay, just a couple more questions because I know that it's getting a little late for you. I really appreciate your time.
I like talk so much, so I'm sorry.
No, it's great. I would rather. I think everyone else would rather hear you talk than me talk. Anyway, can you talk about a typical tournament week? Typical tournament week for you. What happens, or what's the routine?
Okay. Half of the tournaments are 3-day tournaments, and half of them are 4-day tournaments. I think mostly 3 days still so far. So tournaments on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means the prom is on Thursday, and then the practice round is on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I usually have Mondays off. So Tuesday morning, I usually fly out to the location. It's usually like an hour and a half flight. And then from the afternoon, like 1 or 2 p.m., I play 9 holes. And then, yeah, and then the next day I play the other 9 and practice and stuff and do interviews. And yeah, and then usually I don't get into pro-ams on the regular tour because there's a lot of, other really good players. And I think there's like 30 groups or so. So about 30 players. And usually the top 10, 20 goes. And then the other 10, 20 are the, the sponsors picks. And usually they pick the girls that are very popular or their own sponsors, like who they sponsor for.
Okay.
So, I played in like a couple, but not too many, so it wasn't that bad. And then yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just play, and then Saturday, Sunday night, you fly back home, and yep, it's all over again.
So you actually, like, where are you based out of? You actually get to go back to your actual home, or you check in pretty much every week?
Oh yeah, we have a house in Osaka,
Okay.
so then I kind of like, from here, I just kind of like go everywhere. And if I take off a tournament for like a week or during off season, I go back home in Hawaii and practice there. And it's you don't really speak English as much, so definitely need to do that and go to the beaches and like relax. But I feel like I can't take off tournaments unless I'm playing well because. So if I'm not going back home, that means I'm not playing well. But last year I played well in the very first tournament, so it was a lot more easier to like take off tournaments and go back home and like see my sisters and my family again.
Yeah. So how many tournaments are on the JLPGA schedule in a season?
Last year we had 39. So that's 39 weeks. That's 30. So first week of March till end of November or first week of December. I think I played in 32.
Wow.
Yeah. I think the last tournament, I think only top 30 could play, so I couldn't play in that one. And in the Toto, the LPGA, I was the first one on the waiting list and I didn't get it. I know. I played a practice round and everything too. And I was like, oh, guess I'm done. So I don't know, hopefully this year.
Yeah.
But other than that, I took off about four or five tournaments. Took off once every like 5-6 weeks. I was able to like pick out the courses that I didn't want to go. But that's because I was able. I already had some status. So, but if I didn't, then I think I would have played more.
Right.
And this year we have 37 because the Olympics were supposed to be on, so those 2 weeks were off. So I was like, oh wow, summer break. But then, but
yeah,
right now I think 14 tournaments are canceled. The first 14. The first tournament was in Okinawa, all the way south. I was there already because it was like 2-3 days before the week of the tournament, and they announced that they canceled. So we're like, I just flew from Hawaii for nothing. And they canceled the next tournament soon after. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back home. So I went back to Hawaii, and they started like canceling tournaments one after another. So I was there for about a month until the prime minister in Japan said that if you're coming in from America, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. I think starting like end of March. And I was like, wait, if they like start playing tournaments again, and if I go to Japan and I'm 2-week quarantine, like I can't play in the tournament. So and at the same time, Hawaii went in lockdown. So everything was it like other than the supermarket and hospitals, everything else is closed. So like I think the golf courses were closing. So I'm like, okay, I guess we're all going back to Japan. It was supposed to be just me and maybe my dad, but because my sisters like didn't have school either, and if they couldn't sister were like, why don't we just all go to Japan? So we all came here, I think exactly 1 month ago. And all the tournaments are canceled one after the other. So now we don't have any tournaments until June, but that's still like pending and we still don't know.
Right. Have you been able to practice at all or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Everything looks completely normal here. Like everyone's telling everybody to like stay at home, social distance, but nothing's changing. Everyone looks exactly the same. People going out. I mean, they have their masks on, but even at the supermarket, no one's doing social distancing. They do it at the register where they put like tape on the floor to be like, was it 6 feet away from each other? But then like other than that, we're all like walking right next to each other. So I'm like, it's not really doing anything.
Yeah.
So all the courses are open. There's actually more people now at the golf courses and the ranges because they think it's safer outside. I mean, it is, but if there's still people, it doesn't really do anything. And I mean, I'm there because I have to, but everyone else is there because they want to. And I kind of wish there were less people, but at the same time, we're pretty grateful that everything is open and, you know, going smoothly, because if we're back in Hawaii, then we can't do anything because we live in an apartment and we can't like put up a tent in the yard or anything. Like Casey, like we'll probably be going to her house. I'll probably be living with her maybe. Her house is huge. So
She seems like she has a pretty nice setup out there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's good that we're all here together too in Japan, and I don't know, hopefully we start soon because I'm getting pretty bored.
Well, what's been have you gotten yourself into a routine? So like I know you're doing some classes right now, online classes,
Right.
and are you working out, practicing?
Right.
Do you have like a routine that you've been trying to do or doing?
I actually have a lot of stuff to do. It's just really repetitive every single day. It's like the exactly same schedule. So in the morning, I usually work out. There's gyms open that are available for only professional athletes. So like normal people can go in. So I go there about twice a week. I'll go there tomorrow morning and I work out, and then they give me treatment there as well. Other than that, I just like work out at home, like this morning, or like swing or jump rope outside or go out for a run. And then in the afternoon, we usually go practice. We usually go to the driving range or to the golf course. But the golf course, we go after all like the members and guests go in. So we go like at 3 p.m. So we could like practice a lot and spend like a long time on a certain hole until like 6 or 7 p.m. and usually watch Netflix. Or I mean, I still take online classes from UH because I'm still technically a junior by credit. I mean, ever since then, I've been taking classes, maybe like 1 or 2 classes per semester, and I'm majoring in communication, and I ran out of classes to take because I took every single communication class online. So I can't graduate until I actually like go back to school and take classes. So because I ran out of classes to take, I started taking the free online class like Princeton and like Harvard gives out. Actually, Casey told me about that, and I was like, oh, pretty neat because I'm pretty bored, and I don't really want to be, watching TV and like playing game all day. So I was like, I started doing some studying, and my sister's teaching me the ukulele. And I was trying to keep myself busy, but it's pretty boring, being very repetitive, and there's nothing like going on in my life. So I mean, can't see my friends or go out with them. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same there as well. But
this is a good chance to, like, legit Lizette Salas, and she was like, I want to play in Japan. Like after she watched some of Casey's Instagram live, and she was like just hearing like about the opportunities, even the clubs like the clubs being shipped, like the service you can. I don't know if you use it, but like
Oh yeah, that's like normal now. I feel like that's no. Yeah, you send your clubs after like on Sunday afternoon, right after you finish. I mean, it's pretty crazy the clubhouse where all the managers and coaches and parents just like throw all their stuff in the golf bag and then they just like throw it to the ship it to the next course and it's there on like Monday or Tuesday. And it's like not even broken, nothing's lost. I mean, that's something that's really good on the Japan tour because Japanese are very, those kind of things are very they're really picky about those things. And yeah, they just send you everything like soon after, and it all literally comes the next day, and it's always amazing. Like when I need spikes, or if it was too small, if it was too big, they just like, okay, we'll send it, and next day it's like at my house, and I'm like, it's just amazing. That is just, and yeah, whatever, yeah, the things they do for us is unbelievable. And I feel like all the players here take it for granted because they think that's normal. And then yeah, so that's the thing. Like everybody really wants to go on the LPGA tour, and then I'm sorry, like for me, I'm like I'm pretty good here. Like when I was in junior golf, I played in junior world, like everything else, like there's so much traveling and time difference, and I feel like I couldn't play my best every single week. And the food, like I mean, I grew up with like both Asian parents. Like, I need to eat rice every meal, and so we even took our rice cooker with us all the time, like for my junior tournaments. But you can't really make like a proper food. Like, we're not used to eating like heavy stuff all the time. Like, we want noodles, like not like beef and steak and fried chicken and like barbecue like every single day. Like, I like it, but like every single day for like during the summer days, like I just cannot. And I was like, even if I do pass Q school on the LPGA tour, I feel like I cannot play my best every single week. And I was like, well, luckily my dad's Japanese and we have connections here where like there's like transportation, like 1 hour, 2 hour flight max. You can even like drive there if you want. No time difference. Food is amazing. It's cheap, it's healthy, it's fresh, and like women's golf is very popular and like easier to get like sponsors and support and like media coverage, and or like there's nothing more than that here. So I'm really grateful to be here and to be playing here. But all the players here, they're like, oh, we want to go to America. And I'm like, I mean, it's great, but good luck. Like, I mean, like if you have like a whole team with you, like, I don't know, your parents and your coach and your trainer and like a chef or somebody, then like I'm pretty sure you could definitely do it. But when I was in junior golf, like we couldn't really afford all those things. So it was very difficult, especially, yeah. I know. I don't know how like NASA and like Amy Azato did it, or even Mika did it during those times, but they did say it was very difficult, and it's just so much easier being in Japan because yeah, everyone's there, and yeah, everything is there already, and so much easier. But everyone takes it for granted, and it's like kind of sad for me too. Yeah.
I mean, lifestyle wise, like I think if I was a professional golfer and I just like I wanted to play golf for a living and have like you have lots of stresses too, and like but there are other issues like what happens to players like every week pretty much. I think someone is affected by like a lost bag, like their airlines. Everyone has different airlines, like like there's a lost bag or another issue that happens, like literally to not have to worry about that and to not have to worry about a club breaking and transportation. Casey said that even sometimes players will just send the bag, like you don't even have to like have a like the travel case or anything.
They don't do that. I don't know why, but they don't do that. I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of, I don't know. they're just so proper about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to know that you can show up at the golf course wherever you're going to next and know your clubs are going to be there and they're going to be fine. And if you're at the airport, you don't have this massive bag to carry around. Like that's got to be such a like relief. And maybe since you can check in at home, you don't have to take like 6 weeks of clothes or you don't have to worry about there's a lot of things that like an LPGA lifestyle is. I mean, I think you get used to it. Maybe not everyone gets used to it, but you get used to what you know and do. But it does seem like convenience wise, like playing in Japan would be so nice.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think you can't really get any better than this. I feel like here or like Korea too. I'm not really sure about China and Taiwan, but definitely feel like Japan's on the top of the list when it comes to being on time and quality and everything else.
Yeah. All right, Amy. I really do appreciate you taking the time, and it was great to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully I can get to Japan at some point.
I know.
It'll be great, and to kind of see everything that's going on there. But whenever you get to play, best of luck. Hope you don't get too bored in the next in the coming weeks. But best of luck.
I hope you stay safe too.
Thank you very much. I will do my best. All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to episode 4 of Pitchin' It with Ben. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe, like, rate, comment, and share. Hope you enjoyed, and see you on episode 5.